Now.
Is that better? I definitely pushed it. Okay. We'll just wait a minute. Yes, I'll just repeat in case it wasn't heard. We're welcoming Katie Mays now, who's coming to give us a Cambridge Connections update. She's just handing around some information for us, and we'll just hopefully get Alana back online. So we'll just wait for a moment.
It's just 2 pages.
Excellent. Katie, nice to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I just wanted to provide a really brief update today about the community reference group and the formation of a community reference group to support Cambridge Connections. So we called sort of 2.5 weeks ago now for expressions of interest for the community reference group. And as I mentioned to you last time I was here, that group will be made up of up to 15 people, including Andrew. Thank you very much on behalf of the community board. To be involved along the way, and they will be supported by the Community Ideas Forum, which is an open forum for anyone who to sign up to at any stage of the project. We received 52 expressions of interest for the community reference group, and the slides that I've just put together today just give a few of the stats to give a bit of a give you a sense of the breadth of people who have put their expressions of interest forward. We are extremely fortunate when you look at the caliber of the applications. It's just we're really fortunate, this community, that we've got so many people who are just have this depth and breadth of knowledge and are willing to share it. And so it's, I've actually been really spoiled for choice, and it's actually been a very tricky job trying to, because I mean, everyone could have done a fantastic job, but trying to then look back at the criteria that we had about, well, what were the interests that we really wanted sort of represented around that table, and how to get the best mix of that, and a mixture of ages, a mixture of locations and things like that. So we're at the point now of being able to confirm during the rest of this week who those members are, and we're looking to have the first meeting of the community reference group the week after next. And that first meeting is absolutely about whakawhanaungatanga, and then we'll have a subsequent meeting 2 or 3 weeks after that when we'll actually start getting into the work itself. I will certainly be inviting all of those people who put forward an expression of interest who we're not asking to be part of the reference group to be part of the Ideas Forum and still contribute in that way. And I really hope they take us up on that offer. So because I mean, I can take the slides as read, obviously, but I just really wanted to give you that sense of that breadth and depth across the community that we've got. Probably the last couple of things to note, as it says right near the start of that, is that we provided room on the community reference group for youth to be part of that group. We didn't have any expressions of interest from people in that category, although we had contacted the principals at the schools and they had been supporting us with that. We will carry on thinking about how to get that voice coming through really strongly in parallel, and we've got some ideas that are some more irons in the fire about that. So we certainly know that youth voice remains really, really important. We do have parents of school-age children on the community reference group, but we want that youth voice directly, so we will work with that. And we had also created space for mana whenua to be part of the community reference group if they want to take that opportunity up. Again, we'll continue to engage with them directly, so that will, again, just want to let you know that all of those sort of things happen in parallel. But that's probably all from me. I'm really happy to take any questions that you might have. Otherwise, I'm just really excited that we've actually sort of building this momentum. It's just fabulous.
This is a great first step, absolutely. Any questions for Katie in the community, Elise?
Thanks, Katie. That's wonderful news. If someone drops out of the community reference group, we'll just go and ask one of those remaining applicants if they'll join, or if someone drops out, is that it? You don't replace that person?
That's a good question, and actually not one that we've got a sort of formal decision about how we'd handle that. So my top of the head response is that I think that's a discussion for the group about, well, what's the mix of interests that around the table and whether we would particularly want to replace that kind of interest. And I think it's a group decision then. I assume that the first port of call would be back to go to those people on the Ideas Forum, who are obviously people who've expressed an interest and are still working closely with the project. But that's my off the top of my head response.
So there's no, you don't have to have 15 minimum
No,
throughout
it
the
says
process.
up. No,
It's
that we've
quite relaxed.
That's
around
right.
that. Okay.
We've said up to 15 so
Okay.
that we can try and again get this mix of interests. But there are people, there's obviously a number of people who represent more than one interest. So it doesn't have to be sort of like for like in that way.
I had a question too, Katie, about the Ideas Forum. Have you had many people sign up to that and be engaged in that?
Yes, so we've had over 30 people so far
Good.
sign up directly to the Ideas Forum. And then I'm hoping, like I say, that we end up also having people who put forward this expression of interest, most of whom didn't also sign up to the Ideas Forum
Right.
at the same time. So it may well be that we end up with 50 or 60 people signed up now for the Ideas Forum,
Okay.
which will be predominantly a sort of online
Yes.
approach to be able to manage interaction between all of those people, and which again I think is really fabulous before we've even got going.
Yeah, absolutely. Philip.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks, Katie. Good to see you. You're back from your holidays.
I am.
That's cool. All ready to go. A couple of questions, please. On page 4, it's got applicants representing organisations, businesses. So there's actually quite a few just individuals then.
That's true.
So there was only just over 20% that were representing businesses and things like that. Is that
Yeah,
right?
so they might be, they may well be sort of collective groups. So particularly when we'd looked for people in the social sector and the disabilities group for accessibility, there are obviously organisations who represent the interests of those with accessibility needs. So that would be an example where we might take a representative from an organisation representing a collective group of people. Yeah.
Cool. And then on page 2, you've got age of applicants. There's nobody here between 18 and 24. Did you go to the schools at all?
Yes, we did. We went to both of the high schools, and the principals were really helpful in actually getting the message out, but we didn't receive anything back. So we'll need to work on that sort of separately. Yeah.
But just interesting. I mean, I'm chair of the Cambridge Grey Power, and last week we had it was our monthly meeting, and our guests, which we do every year, is high school students. We take it in turn between 2 schools, and this year was Cambridge High, six year 13 students, and asked them about the future of their community in the next 6 months and 10, 20 years. And one of the things that came out again with them was public transport, amongst other things. But it's interesting that, I mean, it's 18 and 24. There was only one 18-year-old out of those year 13s.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's beside the point. And
That's right. So we just need to find different ways of actually hearing those voices. And I mean, in some ways, it doesn't surprise me that we don't have people who want to be putting up their hand coming into exam period for school and everything else to sit on a committee, which is not something that many 18 to 24-year-olds want to do anyway. So, yeah, we need to go to them and hear that directly. But we'll continue to work with the principals of both the high schools.
And then the other end, not the other end, that's the right word to use, but the older members of the community, which are about 20% here, 65. We hear it from the older members of the community how they want a public transport system. So these 65 plus, are they were they any from retirement homes, or are they?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Right, cool.
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. Thank you.
Is that
there is a social services committee in the town.
Mm.
So we've
Mm.
got somebody coming from the social services because they're right on the ground.
That's exactly right.
Right,
And that's the benefit of them being able to then
Yeah.
take this
Yes,
back to
yes.
exactly that sort of committee and bring forward the views of that
Yes,
committee into the
yes.
group. So yeah, I think
Hugely important.
absolutely, yes.
Andrew.
Could you just give us a 1 minute recap of the governance structure, how the council are involved, and you've got this separate group that's the governance group. Can you just recap that for a refresh reminder, please?
Yes, and have to sort of wave my arms around a little bit to kind of give you a sense of that. So as the decision maker, we have the Strategic Planning and Policy Committee of Council. We then have within the project structure first, and then we'll go to these committee groups. We then have a project governance group, which is made up of a subset of elected members and executive members. And Councillor Montgomery chairs that group. And then supporting, and so that's our kind of internal project group. So then what we've got to support that work is this project reference group supported by the Broader Ideas Forum. And leaving the best to last, the conduit then between that, the community reference group and the Ideas Forum to council being the community board. So that you will receive that information from the community reference group. Be able to do some of that. We spoke last time about adding your flavour and your sense making, adding to the richness of that to be able to provide that to council. Clear as mud? Yeah. Cool.
Also, the community reference group, is that group around for the entirety of the project or just till the end of next year with the bridge corridor?
So the project itself is the Cambridge Connections Transport Plan, which will go to the council for approval in December next year, and that will be the end of the project.
Okay.
So that will
Okay.
be the end of the reference group.
Okay.
Now, obviously, then there's a whole load of subsequent decisions and things
Yes.
that need to happen after that point, but the project itself comes to an end once we have a plan that identifies what those short, medium and long-term activities will actually be.
Okay.
Yeah,
And the
and then it gets picked up. Sorry, then it gets picked up through the long-term plan
Right.
planning.
Okay.
From that point on.
Okay. No, good answer. Thank you. Phil.
And so on that, on that, if it gets extended out past December, if a decision wasn't made or you need more time,
Mhm.
would there's provisions in place to cater for that as well?
Yes, we could.
Both
Yes, we
yourself,
can.
because I think you just
No, I'm a permanent employee.
right. Sorry.
So yeah.
Your
So no,
contract. Somebody told me your contract.
no,
doesn't
I
say
am a
that.
permanent
Sorry.
employee. Yep. And so yes, we would be able to extend that if council wanted to extend it. The timing is important for us to be able to make sure that those activities for 2027 to 2030 get framed up and into council's long-term plan so they can get funded and we can actually get some implementation going. And so if it were to go longer, we would need to just rejig how are we at least going to identify what those short-term activities are, even if we're going to take a little bit longer about some of the medium and long-term activities so we don't stall and lose that window.
Any further questions for Katie? Anything from you, Alana, online? No, you're good? Okay, great. Thank you. That was a great update and we look forward to hearing more as the project goes on, not in this forum, but, just through our other lines of communications. That's
Yeah.
great. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yes, please, Teresa. Yeah. Right, so let's just receive Katie's report on her Cambridge Connections update. I'm happy to move that. Can someone second? Alana, Elise will, thank you. And all in favour? Right, carried. Right, now we move on to our Armistice Day and Sister Cities annual costs for this year and next year. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. So we've got before you a paper which covers those Armistice Day costs because that will be coming off coming up, and obviously the Armistice Working Group have been looking at their budgets and how it's going to run this year. So they've got some estimates there, and given the timing of Armistice Day, they do need to get that budget approved now so they can go on and organise that event. We also have a number of annual costs just in terms of your sister cities with their website, and also something there for you to consider in the recommendations is whether you would like to put some funding to towards the installation or any repair that might be needed for Christmas tree lights this year. So that's the third set of costs. So that's really open for you to discuss and consider those payments.
Any thoughts, any discussion on this item?
I just had one question, Alana, which you may have the answer to. Do we know what the website visitor numbers are for the Lekanua Sister Cities website? You might not have that on the top of your head, but
No, I don't know off the top of my head. I could try to find it out from either Juliet's or Rocket's bag.
yeah.
But
Look after the website
yeah,
updates. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it'd be interesting to know, just given the level of investment that's going into that website, quite a lot. So it'd be good to know what the traffic is at some point. Thank you.
I think we need to. I think we need to note that probably with the Lekanua connection, it's more than just us as a community that has an interest. You know, we've got people all over the countryside, North and South Islands, who've also got an interest, and I think we have to be very careful that we're not funding the rest of the country, not just, you know, our interest, but we are funding, and that's something I think we have to be a bit cautious about. You know, it's like when you go to Lekanua, for example, you suddenly discover that, oh yeah, there's a few of us here from Cambridge, and then you get a whole pile of other people from all over the side. I think we've just got to watch that, and maybe we need to sort of, if it's going to continue on, we need to perhaps look at how we fund a bit of the Lekanua Association connection and what the rest of the country should perhaps be helping to contribute to.
Thank you, Sue. Good points. So anyone have any issue with the $3,000 firstly for the Armistice Day and Sister Cities annual costs? Everyone generally happy? That's pretty our normal budget, and it's always a well-attended event, that one. And the annual website domain fees, other than your question, are you happy?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Now our Christmas tree lights, any thoughts on that? Yeah, everyone happy to carry that on? Yep, generally. Okay, great. All right, let's move this. Okay, so I'll just run through everything. So please.
Sorry, Chair, to that point, who will organise that, the Christmas tree? Because it's not part of the committee, Sue's just
Yes.
done it.
That's dead easy.
Mm,
Okay, so,
they
okay.
kind of do it automatically.
They
they?
do,
Okay.
but, you know, I'm likely to get a phone call from
Okay.
Waipani Group saying,
Yeah,
Okay, this is
it's a
in place for-
well-oiled little, yeah, I think that should be all right. But perhaps so you might just keep a little bit of a loose operational eye on that. Yes, just in case. If you see them, yes, great. And you've done that every year, so that's perfect. Perfect. Okay. Right, let's go through. We'll receive Joe's report on the Armistice Day and Sister Cities annual costs. We'll approve that payment of $3,000 for the service, and with any unused funds returned to uncommitted, which includes hire of the Cambridge Town Hall, audio and visual, printing and artwork, any health and safety, wreaths, and any other associated costs. We'll also approve the annual expenses to be paid from the Sister Cities Reserve, $35 for the annual website domain name and $180 for the annual website fees. And we'll also approve payment of up to $1,500 for installation and repair of the Christmas tree lights for a tree in Victoria Park, Cambridge, from our discretionary funds, with any unused funds returned to uncommitted. I'm happy to move that.
You could say installation, repair and maintenance. Is there any maintenance that's like, what about that?
We have had maintenance in the past with an episode of vandalism. Other than that, they don't need maintenance. Yeah.
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 So happy with installation.
I
repair.
think
just
so.
think if you had 3 of those things in there, if with anything happened, then it kind of is all encompassing.
Okay, we could add
So
maintenance
installation,
in.
repair and
Yeah,
maintenance.
okay, let's
And
add
then
a
it's-
maintenance.
Yeah.
What is it supposed to be? Victoria Park. Yeah, yes, let's change Victoria Park to Victoria Square,
Okay.
which is slightly more accurate. Mm. Right. Yes, we'll do installation, repair and maintenance, and we'll change Victoria Park to Square, and I'm happy to move that. Sue, would you like to second that? Okay, and Sue Milner will second that. Thank you. And all in favour? Great. Okay. Yes.
Madam Chair, just quick while we're on sister cities, I've just forwarded you all the Global Cities newsletter that came out last week that Lana's put together.
Thank you.
With the Bohoro, student Bohoro delegation that were here, high school students that were
Okay.
here just recently. So there's a
Great.
article in there.
Thank
about that.
you. Thank you very much. Right, while Joe's still here, we'll go to the local body triennial elections, discharge of community board working groups.
The purpose of this report is because at the end of the triennium, any of your working groups will automatically discharge, and because you've got your Armistice Day one that needs to carry on operating, so you can deliver that service on the 11th of November. It's proposed that is a special resolution to carry that through.
Okay, everyone happy with that? Yes, so that's Sue and I that sit on that committee, so we'll carry on. Right, so we'll receive Joe's report, local body training elections, continuation of working group, and we confirm that pursuant to section 30 of the Local Government Act, the Armistice Working Group is not discharged and will continue to be appointed with the same purpose, membership and delegations until the incoming Cambridge Community Board decides its subordinate decision-making structure. I'll move that. Elise will second. All in favour? Great, thank you. Right, my chairperson's report. I will take it as read, but I just wanted to speak to it briefly and just take a moment to reflect on our last 3 years that we've had and to thank each of you for your contribution to this board. So Elise, thank you. You've been an excellent deputy chair. You've always been willing to step in and assist me when needed, even while starting a business and having a new baby. Your constant support for our library project has been a real standout, along with your leadership on the Leamington playground work. And I've really appreciated all the times you've been there to back me and the board and the difference that support has made. So thank you very much. Alana, I know you're online, but your work across all the issues has been so invaluable, but particularly our sister cities connections. You have put so much energy into building relationships that not only strengthen Cambridge's place in the wider world, but you've given our community so many opportunities to connect and learn about our sister city relationships. You've organised every single delegation and sister city event almost alone, and you've approached this with consistency and so much hard work, and I know those efforts will have a very long-lasting impact. Andrew, you've been such a strong and consistent voice for your rural community and have never wavered from looking at every issue from a rural perspective. You've spoken directly, you've asked the tough questions on behalf of us, and ensured that we have stayed very grounded in the realities that our community face, and you've been a great addition to our board. Sue, your long years of service and deep knowledge of Cambridge's rich history has been a true asset to our board. You've been a guardian of the history of Cambridge and the Greater Waipa, and the only recipient of our community board this term for good reason. You've given a lot to local government over many years, and we thank you very deeply for your service. Philip, you've brought a lot of warmth and approachability to our board. You are always the first person to shake someone's hand when they come into the door, and that friendliness has helped set a tone for our meetings and made our work here much more welcoming. And Mike, you've been our bridge into council, helping us understand the more complex financial aspects and encouraging us to see where we could be the most effective. Your guidance has given us a lot of confidence and clarity in our decisions, and we thank you. Also like to thank our council staff who have supported us over the last 3 years. Kirsty Downey, who has provided support and guidance where we have needed it. She brought us very close to the long-term plan process and helped us through that, as well as providing me with a lot of support and encouragement as the chairperson, and your input has been invaluable to me. And our wonderful governance team, Joe, Deb and Zoe, and Veronica. These ladies keep our meetings and agendas running smoothly. They make sure the technology doesn't fail us, and they provide us with a lot of support behind the scenes. So I thank you all. So to each of you, thank you. I have loved being the chair of the Cambridge Community Board, and I hope I have represented our community to the very best of my ability. However, the board has only been as strong as the people sitting around this table, and it has been my privilege to serve alongside you. So thank you. Right. I will move my own report. Can I do that? Yes, great. Can someone second that? Mike, thank you. All right, all in favour? Thank you. Right, Treasury report. Joe, thank you. And Margaret, thank you for coming and being in our public forum every single meeting and bringing us treats. You've been a great support to us. Thank you, Margaret.
So the report, the period ended 31st of August is in your agenda. Does anyone have any questions on that?
No, anyone? No, that looks straightforward. Right, I'm happy to move that report. Unless anyone had any points they wanted to raise. Everyone okay with that? Yep, Elise will second. All in favour? Great, thank you. Right, board members' reports from meetings attended on behalf of the Cambridge Community Board. It's been a funny last month. We've had a few missed meetings and a few things slowing down. But I'll start this side, and if you have anything. No, Elise? Sue? No, Andrew?
The Safer Cambridge Trust had a AGM a couple of weeks ago, and
Yes.
their next meeting is tomorrow night. The biggest thing there was Ian Hughes is stepping down as chair of the trust, and it's proposed that Jocelyn Cooney is to be the new chair, but she hasn't accepted that yet. They're just discussing it. The trust made a small loss last year, but with increased funding from the council for next year, it should be in better shape. The national government put on hold, didn't they, plan changes that local government were making, and one of those was plan change 25 to do with crop protection structures. So I have noticed driving around talking to growers, they're aware of that, and some works can go ahead that haven't been changed and altered by the proposed plan change. So that's something that interests me and rural people, that they're aware of these things that have been held up, and they're getting structures. They can get things in before the plan changes goes in as the council wanted to change it too. So it's just to keep for the council people to watch out for. And I know that farmers are actively aware of the dates and when these rules are changing about what they can do and what they can't do. No, I won't comment more on that. Fonterra, though, having lots of meetings at the moment from the dairy side of things, because they're doing a big divestment of a quarter of their company. So a lot of dairy farmers, it's all over the news. You might have heard about it. It's a big thing going on in the dairy scene. Federated Farmers, Cambridge and Taumata are combining to have a candidate election meeting on Thursday the 18th in Te Awamutu. So all and sundry are welcome to attend that, to hear from, I think, mainly the mayoral candidates. Yes, it is. Yes, it's Waikato Regional Council as well. Yep. The Care.
Yes, as long as it's on behalf of the Cambridge Community Board, you're good.
I'll just go on to my next topic. the Karapiro Reserve Management Plan and Master Plan. I've had a few people just feeding back to me about clubs, people feeding back about concerns about that. So that's ongoing, and they're just waiting to see the next moves from council on that one. There was proposed to be a meeting, a separate working group to talk about the Domain embankment wall against the lake. That I haven't been contacted about when that is happening, but I put my name down to be on that. So I'm interested as when that will start up again. And that is all. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Philip?
No, I mean, no. The only thing probably, and Alana was there as well, as the high school students from Bahoro that were here that I mentioned a moment ago. And we had an afternoon on Liz Stoick's farm at Andrew Myers, Andrew Raymer, sorry. On the farm there, and showed them all around the cow shed, and they played with the calves and drove on the motorbikes, and Liz gave them a great lunch. So it was really, really neat. They were here for 3 weeks, and it was really neat to be able to, with Alana and Mia and things like that, show them around. So
Right.
just give them a day out. And Greg Thornton from the high school, headmaster, was there as well. So,
Right.
yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks.
I'm going to probably shoot now to this meeting, but
Okay.
yeah, it's been a really great community board, and
Thank you.
you know, you did the chair's report, and
Thank
thanked
you.
everyone else, but yeah, you've done
Thank
a
you.
really top job, and
Thank
thanks
you.
to all the staff. and everything
Yes,
like
well
that
done to
too,
the staff.
so.
Thank you.
And you mentioned about me shaking hands. I saw that with Graham Webber when he was on the community board. He used to do that, come in and
Sets a
welcome
nice
them and
tone.
things like that. So,
Sets a very nice
so
tone.
thank you.
Thank you, Philip. Mike?
Right, got a couple of updates. Feels a bit weird doing this because I don't know who's going to be back, but I'll put it on the record anyway. And at least one of you might be back. So I will give you an update. Today we had a workshop and briefing day, which was pretty chunky one. The relevant sort of points in there are we're doing a financial reporting sort of project to really update our financial reporting to make it sort of more user friendly. And I think that the community board in future will find that slightly better when we get there. So I am going to be back next time you're here. So I will carry on with these messages, okay? So I will be bringing hopefully an improved financial reporting suite to whatever community board is here. Governance improvements, that's been something we've been trialing over the past several months, change to the meeting cadence, etc. Don't know how much of this you guys are aware of because it mostly affected council. There are a couple of implications for community board, one of which is that we've been having these clashes between council meetings and community board meetings, which is one of the things we discussed today. Probably one of the points of it that I was sort of most considering from the community board's point of view is the dropping of the quarterly reporting regime that we used to have. You guys who have been around the table with me for a long time know that, you know, they're pretty big reports. They probably kind of killed us in the beginning, to be honest, but you do learn a fair bit from them. And so that information flow is coming sort of in different channels now. This was only a workshop and briefing day today. So no decisions being made. It's sort of being held over to the new training and new council coming in to decide which recommendations it pursues. Okay. And I just thought if the community board had a view on how it felt about that quarterly reporting of the service delivery type stuff, you know, the growth report and the service delivery reports that we used to get. There is varying views around the table, around the council table about the benefit of them. And I just thought it was something that community board could form a view on, and it would be really worthwhile to make your view known up into council if you're missing them, okay? Or if the alternative sort of channels of information dissemination are not working for you, it'd be a really useful thing to feed into when we revisit this, okay? I'll try and give the new community board a heads up when it's coming so it can have some input into that. The resident perception survey came, was socialised today. It's up on the website, I believe, as of this afternoon. I won't go into the detail on that, but look, it remains relatively challenging for council and community board, to be fair. So yeah, I'll stop there. It's fully there for everyone to look at. Right, Monday we had audit risk meeting. I couldn't find anything in there of particular relevance to community board. And then going back to council on 27 August, there were a couple of things in there of interest to community board. The Lake Naroto Reserve Management Plan got adopted. I know it's more that sort of district, but it's good to know that it has gone through for adoption. And here's probably the big one. Plan Change 26, that's the medium density residential standard. You'll remember that ended up going up to the minister, and one of the controversial points, or one of the points that we had rejected, that the minister overrode us on, was financial contributions. So if you do something in the medium density residential zone, so say, you know, put another house on the back of your property or whatever, it triggers potential for financial contributions, which are somewhere between $0 and about $3,700. That has to be paid from the person doing the development into council. Okay, now that has to be spent on a quite defined range of things, like amenity planting, parks, reserves, that kind of stuff. It's intended to mitigate the adverse effects of intensification. Okay, so you're improving the MDRS zone amenity. However, it can't be spent on anything that's in council's LTP. Okay, and everything we do is in our LTP, because long-term plans is how we live. It's how we exist. Okay, so it's a little bit of a quirk of the law that it comes to council for these particular purposes, which are clearly defined, but we're not allowed to spend it on existing programs. So we've had a fair bit of debate at council about how we're going to govern that and who makes a decision, etc. The reason I bring it here is because it's highly likely that Cambridge will get quite a lot of this, and it could end up being quite a significant sum of money. It has to be reported publicly, but I just thought it's something that community board might want to keep an eye on, okay? Because we haven't yet landed exactly how we're going to govern that expenditure. So we've landed it well enough that we can accept the funds, but and there is a practice note, I believe, dedicating how it will be expended. But we have actually asked staff to go away and keep working on the governance arrangements of sort of directing how that might be spent. And I just thought it's likely that there'll be quite a bit of this in Cambridge. It might end up a significant sum of money. I don't know. All depends how the development goes. But if it does, it's potentially something the community board could have a bit of influence on, right? On where it gets spent, you know, local placemaking, etc. You guys could have really good ideas on this. And I wanted to keep you in the loop, because you'll have potentially opinions on the governance of this and where it gets spent. Okay, we haven't got anything yet. It will start, and you know, it could accumulate quickly. It could accumulate slowly. I don't know. It'll depend how it goes. But I'll keep you abreast of that, about where we land on the ultimate governance arrangements, how the reporting is going to work, and how you guys will know about the reporting. Because I thought it's something you probably want to know about. Okay. That's pretty much it from a council update. Thanks very much, team. It's been a blast. I'm going to really miss you guys, but I'm going to still be sitting here for another 3 years. So.
We might be
Thanks for the
moving
good
on, but you're
times.
not part of the furniture at this stage. So for me, I've done a couple of Cambridge Connections updates with Katie, just informal ones, catching up on the project, continuing our Armistice Day planning stuff, and had a Lower Duke neighbourhood meeting with Katie and Brian as well, and just talking about again the project and some of their concerns around you know, the new cycleways and kids speeding down there, and the safety of kids as they come down, and residents backing out and things like that. So it was a very worthwhile meeting. And that was me. Right. Oh, sure, Andrew, yes.
Question for Mike. Mike, has a permanent CFO been appointed yet?
No. I'll say no more. Look, as chair of Finance and Corporate Committee, it's something I'm interested in and discuss with Steph, okay, and my fellow council colleagues. Leave it at that.
Thank you. Right. That ends our community board meeting. Thank you to everyone who has listened to us over the last 3 years online or who have attended our public forum. And this ends our triennium. Thank you again to everyone. And I will just end with our closing karakia. Kia hora ti marino, kia whakapapa pounamu ti moana. Hei huarahi mā tātou I te rangi nei. Aroha atu, aroha mai. Tātou I a tātou katoa, hui e, tāki e. May peace be widespread. May the sea be like greenstone, a pathway for us all this day. Let us show respect for each other, for one another, bind us all together. Thank you, everyone, and good night.